Hey man, welcome back to another vlog. And if you guys remember in the previous video, that track day we had, the drift day, it went by alright. It was kind of lame that it was like 113, I believe, that day, and everyone was overheating. It was bad. Run the clips. I'm not the only one overheating. Everyone's overheating. Repeat that for the camera, please. It's way too hot. Yeah. And with everyone overheating, it kind of just made me think I don't have all the cooling mods that I can potentially put on a drift car. And an LS, from what I know, I don't know a lot about these engines, I just know that they run hot. It's long overdue. I should have done this a long time ago, but we're gonna install an oil cooler on the drift car. I got that Amazon special. Get this open right here, boy. Yeah, boy. Bam. Bam. We got an oil cooler. I believe it was like a 32 row, or I'm not even, I don't know. Whatever. I don't even know the name of the company. I just tried to get the most amount of rows, and I found this company on Amazon, and we're gonna send her, boy. I don't really have a plan of attack for how I'm gonna end up mounting this oil cooler. I just know that it has some mounting points on all four corners, and it has to go in front of the car. And the other thing I know is that dude, I gotta show you guys something first. At the track day, my oil pressure gauge was reading something ridiculous, like I think 90 psi at one point, and I didn't know why, but I thought, oh, my gauge is going out, yada yada. I thought nothing of it. Turns out we go under the car. So for one, I was like kind of leaking oil everywhere, and if you guys look at that fitting, kind of gave out, and I was a little suspicious about it. But then you can see it. Oh dude, that's terrible. My oil line going from my oil pan to my oil filter, that line was pinched. That's actually the main reason why I'm doing this, because I would have just kind of took it apart, try to figure it out, but the line is pinched. It caused that kink. Don't know how it happened. When I first routed them, I thought they looked good. Then they were good. I don't know, they somehow got kinked. But regardless, we're gonna replace all the oil lines. We're gonna mount the oil cooler. First, we're gonna start off by removing everything in the front. So what I want to do is put the cooler in here. I want to Sharpie 2 dots and do it. And then get those 2 holes and just blow them through, and then make them to size, and then put hardware through it. Nut, washer, bolt. Can't go wrong, right? One hole, 2 holes. So let's just blast some hardware through it, and I think we're done. Then we have to get measurements for lines, and then we're gonna go to a local shop and get some custom lines made.
The following day.
I have not been motivated to work on this thing. We're on day 2. I think, is this day 2? I don't even remember what I've recorded, dude. All right. I think the main thing we have to do is I gotta take off these oil lines and then get all the measurements for the rest of the oil lines, and I'll be using like a rubber hose, like route it and then measure it with a tape measure. Have my measurements, show up to a local shop of mine, let them know, and they'll make me lines, install them, add oil. Super simple. I hope you can see what the frick is going on, but we gotta get these guys off. You know, I honestly didn't think it'd have as much oil as it did, but it does. Now we're gonna loosen this guy. I know you can't see nothing, but oh hey, good, great. More oil, but this time I'm prepared. There you go. We're gonna let those drain for a bit, and then we'll get ready to start taking them out of the car. And as I'm taking out the oil line, there's our culprit, man. How it happened, I'm not sure, because I know for a fact when I did the swap, the oil lines were okay, but like I guess it just I guess I had it twisted in a way where it had tension and just happened later on down the line, but 100% this happened when I was at Horse Thief Mile. So now that we got these off, I need to figure out what is my feed and my return on my oil pan, because when I inspected it closer, I don't know which one feed and return is, which is terrible because that means when I put this car together, I kind of guessed. I need to know what the out is. We ended up finding this picture. We know that the left is 2 or the feed, and then the one on the right is the return or the from. So a lot happened off camera. I was kind of losing my marbles. So when I came to install this very first line to the cooler, right away the thread got cross-threaded, and I was like freaking out, right? And went to my local auto parts store. I tried to get their tap and die set to see if it would go up to that size, and I actually took off this fitting off the oil relocation because it's also a -10 as like my sample. They didn't have it, so I had to resort to the good old file to clean the threads and file it down, and it worked. And I totally got that first fitting nice and screwed in. I'm also adding a thread sealant. I don't know if this is good for oil. I don't see why not. The instructions don't really say. I'm not even gonna worry about it, but I'm adding a little bit to each thread. I even cleaned up those over there. I'm gonna add it on all of them. I even cleaned the ones down here. It's all nice and clean now. I also did that off camera. I think it was off camera. But yeah, I cleaned all those threads. Now I'm ready to start routing the lines. And I'm starting with this. Now the routing I'm gonna take, left plug, which is feed, that's gonna go straight to the oil cooler. And that's because someone on the internet told me that that's how OEM cars are set up. So that's the way people kind of follow it with aftermarket oil coolers. But from the outlet straight to the cooler, from the cooler to the oil relocation, that guy there, and then out of the oil relocation back into the oil pan. So let's do that. Let's route the lines. It's kind of hard to record and do all this, so I'm gonna connect all the lines and I'll get back to you guys.
15 minutes later.
All right, I buttoned up most of the car, put everything back together to get it together, added my oil filter. I haven't added like the little plastics that go right here because I still want to inspect my lines in case anyone starts to leak. I'm gonna add oil. In case you guys were wondering how I added oil, I just unscrew my oil cap to -10 fitting, and I just put a funnel and add oil. So we're gonna add oil, turn on the car, see if we can find any leaks. Okay, I connected everything. Didn't forget to connect the MAF, put on my filter, I close that back up. Why am I nervous? I'm acting like I did a whole ass engine swap, but I didn't. I really just wanna, I wonder if that allows me to just prime the car. Awesome, this is good. So I only want to prime it because with that, now there's oil pressure in my lines, and now I can see if anything's leaking. So we inspect. I probably shouldn't have done this, but you know what, judge me a different day. So we're gonna check that. We're gonna check these. We're gonna check the plug. So far, so good. I'm gonna check this guy. Everything's dry. Let's prime it a little bit more. All right, and then with that, let's check our oil level now. Before the prime, I left it at full. Let's see if the camera can pick it up. Oof. So it was at full. Now it's all the way down to the D on add. So I need to add a lot more oil for sure. This oil, I don't know what's the capacity of the oil cooler. I probably should have checked, but let's add more oil. We just added another 1.5 quarts, so now we're actually gonna try to get it on. I'm gonna prime the fuel, and that should be good. She's alive. Let the car get to operating temp, but now we gotta really vigorously check all the lines, make sure nothing's leaking. Dangerous flywheel of doom. It's still nothing. I should probably check the oil pressure. I'm an idiot. I should have been staring at this. I mean, I had the camera here, but I wasn't staring at it. I should have been attentive to this, because if this would have showed me like 20 psi or 0 psi, that would have told me that I didn't connect the lines correctly and I have low oil pressure, and I should have immediately turned off the engine. So that's huge, my bad. But so far we're idling at about like 44, 45, which is actually operating. That's actually perfect for an LS. All right, it wouldn't be right without a test drive. Let's go drive the car. Nice. I think that was a good test. I'm gonna pull over and check if there's any oil leaking anywhere, and then I'll keep driving if everything's okay. Driving the car, it feels, oh my god, it feels amazing. Those runs could not have been any better. Of course, if I go home and I find an oil leak or something, I'm gonna address it, but for the most part, the drift car's back, it's up and running. For you guys, it's probably not that long, but for me, this car has been sitting for over a month. I just got lazy and, you know, didn't want to work on it, but we're good now. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope I can make a decent vlog that's not too long, but, you know, thoroughly explaining enough how to install an oil cooler. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends. Let them know that we're out here drifting. Thank you for watching. Peace.